Hello YouTube, Actifane Aconite here, and they kicked me out of Gothic Amino. uh, I almost wish I was kidding. For the longest time, at least, back when I joined, about 3 or 4 years ago, I think it might be coming on to 4 now, I thought that it was, at least because YouTube at the time was failing, not that much has changed. I figured it was not so much the ideal place. I almost wondered if it was, the only place that the online aspects of the community, what few people who wanted to converse globally could do so. It just seemed like the sole place to be doing that. And even before the craze of joining Amino, everyone was already, it began on YouTube. If you saw, all these other YouTubers, like, where the fuck did they go? Where did they go? Did they just disperse into nothingness? I understand if, somebody like, formerly known as Kazlov's Bats, now known as Esoteric Music, though she goes by the Goblin Queen, or at least she went by that for a while on YouTube. Funnily enough, her Instagram is still active, which she's one of the first ones that got me into the community. I started watching a few of her earlier videos. I think the Lucifer Fallen was another good one. She was a model, but what little music content she brought was still entertaining. And another one I remember quite fondly was it's not written in my notes today, so I'm having a bit of trouble with I can remember his face, but Nephilim and Corruptus. This dude knew his shit for the most part. He's if you think I'm bad with babbling on, or even pausing in between words or whatever, he had his moments where it's like. But apart from that, he was a damn good dude, and you don't see a whole lot of that in Amino anymore. The guys, the admins there, the leaders and curators alike, how the mighty have fallen. It just feels like it's filled to the brim with social justice warrior propaganda or whatever the hell. Like, I don't want to be one of those. Oh, but I don't want to sound like I'm a nice guy or whatever the fuck. Because I'll without sounding too petty about it, I was one of the only guys there that came up with, conceptually the idea that we needed, a Gothic gentleman's chat or whatever, because that was my chat, that was my idea, and I ran it for years almost 2 years, maybe more, and it was ideally a place where, me and a bunch of other heat people in the scene could work to better ourselves, be the best versions of ourselves, not only as goths, but just as men and boys. But I think the root of this all started with an incident where we were roasting a public figure in the roast chat, which, it's not much of a roast chat anymore, at least not as I'm making this, I don't think, because the guy, Brain Tremor, who was doing the, he was the creator and operator of it all, he was changing he changes the name almost all the time to the chat these days. It used to be Dark Roast, and then it was, for the holidays, I think it was Fang's Killing, and then Santa's Claus, which somebody suggested to him, and there was a bunch of other funny little punny names or whatever the hell that were going on. But we started roasting what's really just somebody who should be considered a public figure, you may remember her, Casket Rat, the one who went full bleeding hard on me for using the word females. How that even started, whatever, I say males too, I don't, there's so much more to it than just your genitalia. I get it, you're either the hole or the peg, but still, like, fuck me, there's mentalities there's habits of nature, there's just the way that both sides of the sexes operate, and I was talking about them with another member. I wasn't breaking any rules. I wasn't saying anything, explicitly, sexual. I was just talking about the nature of both men and women, I guess, at some point. And this was public, so obviously, in like a comment thread, and it wasn't even like a chat or whatever. But I think that previous encounter where I was roasting Casket Rat, calling her a man-hater, calling her an SJW, whatever have you, that already led to my first strike, just because she wasn't a part of that chat. And the admin who did it, I can tell that she has something against me. I didn't even know she was a woman at first, just because, we'd been following each other for a while now. I unfollowed her after the first strike thing, though, which fucking who wouldn't? It just felt like bullshit, because not only was I not saying anything that could be derived as, interpreted, as hate speech, but with the social justice warriors, the third wave in particular, everything is hate speech if it comes out of a man's mouth. Everything is already toxic if it's masculine anyway. I almost never cut the sleeves off my shirt anymore just because I'm afraid some bleeding heart's going to try, keying my car that I can't drive yet, just fucking... Fuck me. It's, I wasn't even, I was gonna leave anyway, really. The community, it just, especially on Amino, is obviously nothing like what it once was. Most of the admins in and of themselves from earlier on in the beginning are gone anyway, so it's like the whole place is just a hollow shell of its former self. A little musical content is there, is almost never checked out unless it's, by me or a few others. A lot of the time it's just people showing their new kicks or their new rings or whatever. Just things that they've purchased to wear. If I wanted to see that, I would have just stuck with Instagram, which mine is, as I make this, pretty much dead, inactive for the most part. What I really want to do is I just want to bring back YouTube Goth. What happened to the YouTube Goth community, man? I can already see it steadily increasing in activity a lot more, especially since, the likes of, especially Angela Benedict, she's not a part of that. Apparently some few people there who still are there, they seem to revere her enough, but she's not there. I don't think she needs to be either. She wouldn't want to be there. She too uses the word females on occasion, so... Like, how is that even a problem? People were already starting shit with me after I called them she-people, which that's even less harmful. That's fucking funny. I also say he-people. I treat both sides of the sexes like we're, I offend both proudly. I'm like Mel Brooks when it comes to that shit. Young Frankenstein in black and white, no offense, or whatever, I'm just... But one of my favorite comedians is Bill Burr, okay? You gotta... It obviously shows, but I never meant to harm anyone. I obviously couldn't, because not only are they all other fellow goths, but I understandably, Amino is a teen app, and therefore they have a no dating policy, which I wasn't making any advances towards anyone. I wasn't talking shit about anyone. No racial slurs, no sexual slurs, or nothing. I didn't say the word cunt. Which I even, from time to time, I even call guys cunts. Because it's fucking hilarious. How can somebody like Jake fucking poser, fake Monroe, have an entire following where he calls elitists to the subculture elitist cunt bags? One of the things I say when I'm pissed as shit, whenever I stub my toe or whatever, I'll yell cunting cocks, which I get to offend both sides of the sexes. But that's not online. I guess it kind of is now, but I don't say that kind of shit, actively online. There was no animosity, there was no, I've already said it. Hate speech is just anything that a guy says, I guess, that there's no reasoning with these people. I think the worst thing I said, at least, in terms of a feminine perspective, would have been that how I pointed out because women are so, high maintenance, I guess, especially Western women. For whatever reason, they seem to actively feel more than they think, and even that was, half serious anyway. But to ban someone over that, really? You didn't even bother giving me another strike. You just went straight for the throat. Brilliant. By the way, this username was, I guess, Bitvel. Maybe I'll show screenshot of what they did. On one hand, on one of my devices, I noticed there was a notification from her where she invited me to a chat. But when I tried activating it, I already have a screenshot of the notification. But when I tried activating it, I clicked on it, and it said, you need to join this community first. Not that I can, because there's a lock over the thing. 2 locks over the thing. Both over the join and the logo for Gothic Amino, which that was fickle on her part for a number of reasons. But I'm not even. I was gonna leave anyway. I'm not even upset. Fuck those people. What few friends I've even made on that site are flakes anyway. We barely even talk anymore. Even if they come across this video, it's whatever. Maybe they'll comment. Maybe. But honestly, I've just basically had it up to here with Amino itself. The only other one I'm on anymore is Horror Amino, which is where I post all my papier-mâché gore props. Like this spider head from The Thing. Which, honestly, I could have just as easily done this for my YouTube channel. There isn't any particular guidelines for, content on YouTube as long as you're not an asshole about it. I could post anything from goth to horror on this channel. And I honestly, nobody on Amino would care. So I think I'm going to stick with YouTube just because, it's a hobby first and foremost. I don't care if I get much of an audience. I never really did have one, even though I've been here for over 5 years now, which is longer than Amino. But it's whatever if I get an audience or not. I definitely don't think I have one. That's whatever. But yeah, no, hopefully the next video will be that Q&A. I think there's only, 4 or 5 questions? That's whatever. It's a hobby, not a goal. My channel isn't even monetized. It's never been. And, not that I need to, but I've already kind of been low-key preparing for the Kappa thing. Well, with how much, fake blood and everything I do. You remember the April Fool's thing last year? The serial killer joke? Comment down below, give a brother a like if you remember that. That was funny as hell, and fun as hell. Finally putting that fake blood to good use. Kind of had to water it down, though, just because, shit's expensive. So I threw in a little water and food dye just to make sure, things went smoothly. If you like, please like. Feel free to share your obscure little thoughts in the comments below, as well as to share the video itself. Subscribe if you wish to see more. Don't forget to hit the bell if you do. As always, thank you so very much for watching. I love you all, and don't join Gothic Amino. Not unless you want to get shamed for being born with something you can't control. Sexism is as sexism does.